husband who contacted her at 4 a.m. this morning. Do you know why? Because his wife, pregnant wife, who's 23 to 25 weeks pregnant, wanted to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism. Guess where she is? She's in a hospital on a ventilator with liver failure, and they said she's not going to survive.
Tylenol is now the current thing that many liberals are standing with. It seems to be costing them. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, corruption, and help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. Now, did you ever imagine that the new current thing would be Tylenol? You know, it was like Ukraine, yes, Pfizer, yes on that. Palestine was probably in there, and now Tylenol. Wow, how did this come to be? It seemingly is nothing more than defiance to President Trump as he and RFK Jr. made an announcement as they say, you know, there's an autism epidemic and we're finding some links here. There's some other links, but Tylenol is one of them. So, of course, you could tell these people, well, President Trump found a cure for cancer, and they'd say, how do I get cancer? I would like some cancer right now. So we'll see some examples of the most idiot behavior you could imagine. We'll also see how some world authorities in the medical world are really railing against this announcement that Tylenol and pregnant women can cause autism. And I don't think it's about the Tylenol. I think these people have a deeper agenda that's not going to surprise you. More on that towards the end of the video. But first, here's an example of the latest TikTok trend. Pregnant women filming themselves taking Tylenol. Trump and RFK says Tylenol can cause autism in pregnant women. So they say, give me the Tylenol. And you see this lady so proud. Here's me, a pregnant woman, taking Tylenol because I believe in science and not someone who has no medical background. Well, that's quite scientific of her doing that. By the way, I'm guessing, if I had to place some money on it, that she also put a lot of faith in Bill Gates, who is not a scientist and has no science background. By the way, I'd be with her if it was President Trump and RFK in the science lab with their beakers coming out saying Tylenol and autism, guys. You got to understand that. But of course, she doesn't really think more than one layer deep. Of course, it's not President Trump and RFK Jr. doing the science experiments. For example, this Harvard scientist is one of them that is doing the science experiments and coming out saying, yeah, Tylenol, the main ingredient in it, yeah, looks like a link to autism. These are kind of heads of state reporting on what the scientists are saying. But of course, that doesn't matter. Now, here is some live footage of liberals the day after President Trump said, don't take Tylenol if you're a pregnant lady. And here you see seemingly a pregnant lady taking Tylenol. So what's it take for someone on the far left to realize Tylenol is the new current thing that I stand with? It takes about 15 seconds of President Trump talking. Take a look at what has so many people on the left gulping down Tylenol, including many pregnant women.
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
And here's some more examples of the TikTok trend. Pregnant women. Me popping Tylenol while pregnant because WTF is the government going to do about it? They're not going to do anything about it. You're allowed to. They're just saying this new information, and you don't have to believe it, but they're just saying the new information. These people, it's like they're acting like a tyrannical government is trying to disarm them. You know how I would be if they're like looking to do like gun constrictions. Hey, I'm like pro 2A. Don't take my guns. And these people are acting like they're trying to take our Tylenol. Our Tylenol is a constitutional right. Well, guess what? Tylenol is not a constitutional right. And even with that, you still have the right to take it. Not trying to take it from you. They're just seemingly trying to give you like earnestly good caution about what can cause autism. Next, TikTok scientist.
About to take Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare, or medicine.
I bet she takes medical advice from Bill Gates.
And who had a parasitic brain infection and was addicted to heroin for 14 years. Yeah, I'll trust my doctors who have their degree.
Fair enough. She can trust whoever she wants. Now, here's another lady. You can see seemingly either pretty pregnant or very type 2 diabetic. 3 bottles of Tylenol. Great. It's so empowering. That is so empowering. Now, what else is empowering is a tweet from Tylenol back in 2017, which says, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Yeah, that's pretty empowering too. And now this started really widely circulating the day after those pregnant women were posting all those very empowering videos like, dude, yeah, Tylenol while pregnant, it's fine. Well, Tylenol says it's not fine. They say they don't recommend pregnant women using any of their products. And I'd love to get inside the minds of like the women that were posting those TikTok videos the day before. It's like, okay, President Trump says not to do Tylenol when you're pregnant. And Tylenol says not to do Tylenol when you're pregnant. So do you trust the science or do you need to be defiant? What's the deal? So they'd probably come down with some kind of brain aneurysm if they try to process that. We'll get back to the video in a second, but first, have you ever checked the ingredients on your toothpaste? Most toothpaste on the market are filled with harsh chemicals and additives like triclosan, sulfates, titanium dioxide, which can pose risks with long-term use. You use them every day hoping for a healthier smile, but end up with irritated gums, sensitive teeth, and sketchy chemicals. It's time to swap out the chemicals for peptides. Introducing Smile Peptide Toothpaste by the Wellness Company, a breakthrough peptide paste designed to reverse gum loss through mouth regeneration. It's formulated with active peptides to support gum regrowth, nanohydroxyapatite to strengthen while remineralizing teeth, and PAP Plus to whiten without sensitivity. Smile helps you build a truly healthy mouth while staying fluoride free. Ready to make the switch? We'll get 15% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/jpreacts. That's twc.health/jpreacts. Take action for a healthier tomorrow. Now back to the video. And just for a reminder, let's just briefly touch on the video we started off with.
Because his wife, pregnant wife, who's 23 to 25 weeks pregnant, wanted to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism. Guess where she is? She's in a hospital on a ventilator with liver failure.
So Tylenol does cause liver failure, not 100% of the time, but from what I've read, it's the main ingredient in Tylenol anyway, is the main cause of liver failure. So to the woman that this lady is speaking about, to her credit, her taking Tylenol while pregnant to prove it doesn't cause autism, like she didn't get autism. Sounds like she definitely got liver failure and might die, and her baby might die, and that's not a laughing matter. By the way, with the pregnant women taking Tylenol, you kind of look at that and say like, well, gee, you might be doing something really damaging to your baby just out of emotional defiance to President Trump, which is probably your undealt with childhood issues. Now, just so you know, those women who are probably all really big fans of abortion, they would never do anything to harm an unborn baby. So let's give them some credit, okay? And of course, the medical establishment doesn't like President Trump and RFK Jr. talking negatively about Tylenol, how it can be linked to autism, Why? Is it because the medical establishment really cares about Tylenol? Like, it's not saving lives. It's a pain reliever. And anytime I've taken it, I've never felt it working. So it's not like an alleged life-saving medication. So why are they all crusading on behalf of Tylenol? For example, like you see here out of Canada, Tylenol safe, appropriate during pregnancy. Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada. Are they really that pro Tylenol? I think there's something deeper going on. Why you have the mainstream crusade to be pro Tylenol all of a sudden. I'll share that with you in a second. But first, here's another world news headline from NBC News. World health officials counter Trump's unproven claim of link between acetaminophen and autism. Unproven claim. Authorities from Australia to Europe, which is just ocean in between, so it's not that significant, moved swiftly Tuesday to respond to the U.S. announcement and affirm the safety of the drug during pregnancy. So it's kind of like there's not really downside of not taking Tylenol when you're pregnant. Again, it's not life-saving. It's not allegedly life-saving. So why, because there's let's just say President Trump and RFK Jr. are maybe right. Let's not even say they're definitely right. If they're maybe right, what's the downside of just not taking it? There is no downside. And what's the upside of continuing to take it? Well, maybe I have elbow pain relief. What's the downside? Well, a kid could get autism. So why are all these world health authorities railing against this autism Tylenol claim? Is it because they want to defend Tylenol? No. Now, granted, there's, I'm sure, some, pharma industrial complex lobby that's like, dude, we make money on Tylenol, so this is bad press for us. Let's be pro Tylenol. Let's pull the strings. I'm sure there's some of that. But is that all? No. Is that the majority of it? I don't think so. What is the majority reason why these world authorities are railing against this claim? I think they just want to discredit any autism-linked claim that RFK Jr. makes. Why? Because there's already claims, and there will likely be more claims about the link between autism and vaccines. So I think this is really the pro-vaccine movement, where if they acknowledge, a good call on the Tylenol autism link, that's pretty valid. If they give that credit, they're giving credit to future claims and other current claims. But if they discredit that, then when they come out here's some stuff on Pfizer's favorite injection and autism that you gotta see, you'd be like, well, that's horse crap. Look, they're just making all these false claims. And of course, the sheep of the internet are helping them do it. All of a sudden, so many far leftists are becoming unpaid influencers on behalf of Tylenol. So good for the whole pharmaceutical industrial complex for tricking people into being influencers for them. And whoever it is that got tricked, at least they're being paid what they're worth, which is absolutely nothing. And some people are disillusioned by this when you put it all together. Here's someone out of Canada. My entire life, I've trusted the government. Where have you been? But he goes on. I even joined the military as a young lad. How can we trust a government that is lying to us, giving us such bad advice because of political reasons? Tylenol themselves say not to use their product during pregnancy, but Health Canada knows best somehow? My entire worldview is changing in front of my eyes at a rapid rate. So, of course, he's got the Tylenol post from 2017. This is don't use her stuff during pregnancy. And then more propaganda out of Canada, like the piece we just saw a second ago. So this person's entire worldview is changing. 2025, how did that not happen sooner? I don't know, but good for this person for allowing themselves to awaken beyond the indoctrination he was previously in. We all have our moment, don't we? Most of us, like, our moment came way before this person. So let me know what you think about the leftists just all of a sudden standing with a current thing, which is Tylenol. Give me your opinion, and also if you have a thought like, hey, Trump and RFK Jr., I don't think their claim is valid. Let me know that too in the comments and what you think about it. With that said, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you on our next video, but until then, stay free.